A seismic shift is underway in the Indo-Pacific, a region where the balance of power is constantly in flux, and the stakes have never been higher. This vast expanse is pivotal to global stability and commerce, serving as the lifeblood of international trade and economic growth. The South China Sea, long a theater of simmering tensions and unresolved disputes, is now the focus of a bold new alliance that could alter the course of history in the region. On July 22, 2025, the United States and the Philippines signed the Alliance and Revitalization of Trade, or RT framework, a landmark pact that redefines their partnership for a new era of uncertainty and opportunity. This agreement is more than just diplomacy, it's a sweeping realignment of economic and military power, designed to address the challenges of a rapidly changing world. The ART framework aims to secure vital sea lanes that are essential for the movement of goods and energy, counter China's sweeping territorial claims that have raised alarm across Asia, and turn the Philippines into a strategic hub for both defense and commerce in the Indo-Pacific. For Manila, it's a declaration of sovereignty, a bid for modernization, and a chance to assert its role on the world stage. For Washington, it's the cornerstone of a broader Indo-Pacific strategy, anchoring American influence in a region vital to its interests. The deal introduces new trade rules, deepens defense cooperation, and sets the stage for joint military operations and intelligence sharing. It also opens the door for significant American investment, promising jobs, technology transfer, and economic growth for the Philippines. The implications ripple far beyond the two signatories, sending a clear message to Beijing and reshaping the regional landscape for years to come. The 2025 Pact is a high-stakes gamble, promising security and prosperity, but also risking escalation in one of the world's most critical and contested regions. The U.S.-Philippines relationship is rooted in a complex history, from colonial rule to Cold War alliance. The 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty made the Philippines one of America's oldest treaty allies in Asia, though its relevance often faded. The closure of U.S. bases in the 1990s marked a shift, but China's assertiveness in the South China Sea reignited the alliance. Beijing's sweeping maritime claims and aggressive tactics left the Philippines vulnerable, even after a 2016 legal victory in The Hague. Under President Marcos Jr., Manila pivoted back to Washington, concluding that only a stronger alliance could safeguard its sovereignty. The 2025 Pact is the culmination of years of tension and the realization that closer U.S. ties are essential for survival in a contested region. This is not a sudden shift, but the result of escalating pressure and unmet promises from Beijing. At the heart of the ART framework is a radical overhaul of U.S.-Philippines economic ties, reshaping the landscape of trade, investment, and technology between the two nations. Under the new agreement, the U.S. will impose a steep 19% tariff on Philippine goods, while the Philippines eliminates tariffs on American imports, a controversial, one-sided arrangement that has sparked heated debate in both countries. American companies will gain fast-tracked access to Philippine oil, gas, and critical minerals, especially in contested waters, opening up new opportunities for resource extraction and energy development. U.S. survey ships, escorted by the Philippine Navy, will begin exploring these seabeds, mapping resources and laying the groundwork for future joint ventures. The Philippines also sets fixed import quotas for key U.S. agricultural products, sparking debate over food security, local livelihoods, and the long-term impact on Filipino farmers. The Create More Act offers major incentives for U.S. tech and manufacturing firms to relocate from China to the Philippines, aiming to build a resilient, high-tech economy and position the country as a new regional hub for innovation. This deepening economic integration is designed to anchor Manila firmly to Washington, promising new jobs, infrastructure upgrades, and a wave of modernization for the Philippine workforce. Yet, critics warn the new tariff regime burdens Philippine exporters and threatens local businesses, potentially widening inequality and fueling social unrest. The deal offers high-tech growth and foreign investment in exchange for tough concessions in traditional sectors, forcing the country to balance progress with protection of its heritage industries. Ultimately, the ART framework's economic provisions are inseparable from its security goals, intertwining prosperity and protection in a complex new era for U.S.-Philippines relations. The 2025 Pact transforms the old Mutual Defense Treaty into a dynamic operational alliance. Washington pledges $500 million to modernize the Philippine military, boosting its ability to defend vast maritime territory. The GSOMIA agreement grants Manila real-time U.S. intelligence from satellite imagery to threat assessments, enabling rapid joint responses. The U.S. gains expanded access to strategic Philippine bases, pre-positioning forces near Taiwan and the South China Sea. Joint training, a new coordination center, and routine naval patrols make the alliance a visible challenge to China's claims. U.S. General Bronner calls it a shift from dormant treaty to operational power, a clear warning to potential adversaries. The stakes are higher than ever. Any aggression in the South China Sea could now trigger a direct U.S. response. The 2025 Pact is seen differently in Washington, Manila, and Beijing. For the U.S., it's a strategic win, securing supply chains, projecting power, and reassuring allies. Manila frames it as a defense of sovereignty and a path to economic revival, with President Marcos Jr. touting its benefits for security and investment. Defense Secretary Teodoro calls it essential for protecting Philippine territory and people. Beijing, however, condemns the pact as provocative containment, accusing the U.S. of building an Asian NATO to encircle China. Chinese media warn the Philippines is becoming a pawn in America's game, vowing to defend China's interests. These perspectives reveal deep mistrust in a region caught between superpowers. Manila must navigate this treacherous ground, leveraging its alliance without provoking direct confrontation. The pact forces Southeast Asia to choose sides in a rivalry that's only intensifying. Every major pact creates winners and losers, and the 2025 agreement is no exception. U.S. tech and energy firms stand to gain with new access to Philippine resources and manufacturing. In the Philippines, urban professionals and the military benefit from investment, jobs, and modernization. But exporters face crippling tariffs, and small businesses struggle against tariff-free U.S. imports. Rural communities, farmers and fishermen, are especially vulnerable, threatened by subsidized U.S. agriculture and ongoing maritime tensions. The pact risks deepening the divide between urban elites and rural poor, fueling social and political instability. For many, the promise of prosperity comes at the cost of economic sovereignty and local livelihoods. The human impact of geopolitics is as real as any military maneuver. The pact's deterrent strategy is a double-edged sword, raising the risk of rapid escalation. Routine joint patrols and hardened military postures create a tripwire. Minor incidents could spiral into major conflict. Some military leaders warn that robust diplomacy must accompany strength, or force may become the only option. The new coordination center highlights the region's volatility, making the South China Sea a potential flashpoint. The pact also threatens ASEAN unity, pressuring other Southeast Asian nations to pick sides and risking regional fracture. Domestically, the urban-rural divide is fueling opposition, with critics accusing the government of trading economic sovereignty for security. The alliance's benefits are uneven, and the resulting instability could challenge the government's narrative. The risk a divided nation and a fractured region, vulnerable to great power rivalry. The 2025 U.S.-Philippines Pact has redrawn the Indo-Pacific strategic map, setting the stage for a new chapter in the region's history. It binds Manila and Washington in a new era of competition with China, where alliances are being tested and old assumptions are being challenged. The opportunities are vast. A modernized Philippine economy, a secure U.S. foothold, and a potential reshaping of global supply chains that could benefit not just the region, but the world. But the dangers are real. Militarized waters, internal instability, and the risk of miscalculation that could spiral out of control. The ever-present risk of conflict looms over daily life, affecting ordinary people and entire communities. The region's future depends on whether this rivalry can be managed responsibly, with restraint and foresight, with diplomacy and dialogue alongside deterrence, ensuring that tensions do not escalate into open conflict. Success will be measured not by warships or investments alone, but by lasting peace and stability that allows families and communities to thrive. Open communication between Washington, Manila, and Beijing is more vital than ever, as misunderstandings can have global consequences. Finding peaceful off-ramps is not weakness, but strategic wisdom that can prevent unnecessary suffering. Asia stands at a crossroads. Its choices will echo far beyond its shores. One path leads to confrontation and division, risking decades of progress and prosperity. The other to managed competition and peace, where nations can coexist and grow together. The choices made now will shape the region and the world for years to come, influencing generations yet unborn. The stakes could not be higher for the peace and stability of this vital global commons, where the world's future is being written today.